At a boozy work dinner, police deputy Kang So-hyun endures the drunken ramblings of her superiors. Her manager corners her, loudly asking when she plans to get married. He insists she's at the right age, making crude comments about how time isn't kind to women past 30. Her male colleagues laugh along, agreeing that women decline after 25. Unfazed by the gross conversation, So-hyun just smiles. She picks up a bottle to pour a drink, coolly remarking that the only thing that's declined here is something else entirely. With a smirk, So-hyun finishes her savage comeback, implying the only thing declining around here is their own manhood. Her colleagues are stunned for a second, but their drunken brains quickly pivot. One slurs that it's a shame she's still single. Realizing they've crossed the line, So-hyun decides to end the night her way. She starts expertly mixing some seriously potent drinks as the clueless men cheer her on. Her manager eagerly raises his glass, toasting to her supposed soon-to-be married status as everyone downs their drinks, oblivious to her plan. Her colleagues go wild, praising her amazing drink-mixing skills. Manager Kim, flushed and giddy, declares the party wouldn't be the same without her. So-hyun just laughs along, but her mind is somewhere else entirely. She reflects on why she puts herself through this. It's not because she enjoys it. In her line of work, crucial conversations happen at these gatherings. To avoid being excluded simply for being a woman, she not only attended these dinners, but learned to master them, mingling with the old-timers and playing their game better than they could. So-hyun reflects on how she became the secret weapon at these work dinners, a twisted sign that her abilities are recognized. But even a master has her limits. When she tries to slip away at midnight, a very drunk manager Kim begs her to stay, whining that the party is just getting good. Playing it cool, So-hyun gives a slick excuse about needing to empty her glass for the next round. She steps outside onto a quiet balcony, finally escaping the noise. Shrugging on her jacket, she lights up, exhaling slowly as she finds a moment of peace. So-hyun takes a long drag, feeling the weight of her job. She has to play nice with important clients, even when they're talking absolute nonsense. All this stress needs an outlet. She whips out her phone, scrolling through contacts to find someone to help her blow off some steam. But as she thumbs through the list, no one seems right. This old habit of hers, using intense physical exertion to de-stress, is hard to break. It's what got her through Harvard and a crazy job in New York. For So-hyun, it's like a sport, a workout that leaves her feeling totally refreshed. So-hyun scoffs at the thought of marriage. For her, it's a joke. She remembers dumping a perfectly good guy just a month ago because he brought it up. Since then, her life has been a blur of nonstop overtime, and the stress has been piling up relentlessly. Tired of the grind, she decides it's time to act. With purposeful steps, she tells herself to get a grip. A sly, confident smile forms on her face as she walks with newfound determination, ready to take control of her night. Full of confidence, So-hyun marches to her destination, but the sight behind the door makes her world screech to a halt. Her jaw drops as she questions if she's in the wrong place. Inside, the powerful elite Jong Ji-han is caught in a deeply compromising situation with another woman. The sudden intrusion startles him, and he immediately shoves the woman aside. Annoyed and completely blindsided, his gaze snaps to So-hyun, demanding to know what she's doing there. Stunned by his accusation, So-hyun is left completely speechless. He's the one who is caught red-handed, but he's questioning her? Fed up with the situation, she lunges forward and yanks him by the collar, pulling his face right down to hers. Her heart hammers against her ribs. Unfazed by her bold move, Ji-han coolly asks if she's attracted to him. To his surprise, and probably her own, she breathes out a confirmation. She admits she finds him attractive, completely changing the power dynamic in the room. Completely shocked, So-hyun sees Ji-han getting cozy with another woman. She immediately backpedals, stammering an apology about being in the wrong room before quickly leaving. But even after she shuts the door, she can't shake his intense gaze. It felt like it was touching her. Standing alone in the hall, totally flustered, she realizes how frustrated she is. While she was stuck entertaining old men, he was occupied. A deep blush spreads across her face, but she quickly shakes it off, regains her composure, and marches away with renewed purpose. So-hyun tries to shake off her frustration, feeling silly for getting so worked up. She steps back into the loud karaoke party, where her rowdy colleagues immediately swarm her, teasing her about a secret boyfriend. The excitement she felt earlier is completely gone, replaced by tired annoyance. Deciding she's had enough for one night, she downs her drink, ready to make her escape. But as she lowers her glass, a figure in the doorway stops her cold. It's Jong Ji-han, leaning against the frame with a smug look, and So-hyun is utterly speechless. With her bold confession still hanging in the air, Ji-han wastes no time. He follows her out and slams the door shut, trapping her against it. While her colleagues party on inside, So-hyun is completely cornered. She tells him he's in the wrong room, but he just smirks, saying he's exactly where he wants to be. She tries to get him to back off, but he leans in closer. With a puff of smoke, he flips the script, coolly asking if she's the one who followed him here. Jihan scoffs, asking if So-hyun is into older men, mocking her choice of company. Annoyed, So-hyun retorts that it was strictly for work. As he casually prepares to light a cigarette indoors, she calls him out on it. In a flash, she snatches the cigarette right from his mouth before he can even react. She crushes it under her heel, dismissing him as a rookie who might set off the fire alarm. With no time to play, she tells him not to keep his lover waiting and turns to leave. As So-hyun tries to walk away, Jihan clarifies that the person inside is not his lover. Before she can leave, he grabs her arm, telling her to finish her business and come out. She insists she's working, but he just scoffs, clearly not buying it. Totally fed up, So-hyun apologizes for the mix-up and reaches for the door. But in an instant, Jihan slams his hand against it, blocking her escape. He warns her that if she touches that door again, he won't hesitate to break it. Jihan leans in, his threat hanging heavy as he warns her about her fingers. But So-hyun is no damsel in distress. In a swift motion, she yanks her hand back and disappears down the hall, leaving him completely stunned. A moment of silence passes before a smirk plays on his lips. He seems amused by this strange woman. Later, So-hyun tries to pay the bill for her team's party, but the receptionist reveals it's already been covered. So-hyun demands to know who paid, but the information is confidential, leaving her totally baffled. So-hyun tries to cancel the mystery payment, but hits a wall. The receptionist explains it's impossible without the original card. Completely stumped, she wonders who could have possibly paid the massive bill. Deciding to solve the puzzle later, she heads outside into the night. But as she walks down the street, she suddenly freezes. Right there, under a bright billboard, she sees an unbelievable sight. Park Min-joon is locked in a very close embrace with the actress, Jang Yuron. Seeing this, So-hyun grits her teeth, finally hitting her absolute limit. Overwhelmed and frustrated, So-hyun feels like she's seeing things. Deciding she can't hold out any longer, she pulls out her phone to call for help. But before she can dial, a hand suddenly snatches the device away. She looks up, stunned, to find Jang Jihan looming over her. He reminds her that he told her to come out and asks where she thinks she's going. He grabs her arm, backing her against a wall. Leaning in close, he recalls her words about being attracted to him, leaving her speechless. He leans in even closer, whispering that she also admitted his interest piqued hers. Completely flustered, So-hyun tries to push him away, insisting she's in a rush. But Jihan isn't letting go, calling her a tasty morsel right in front of him. So-hyun snaps back that Min-joon isn't her lover. With a smug grin, Jihan says he doesn't keep pets like that anyway. Then, in a tone that leaves no room for argument, he tells her to follow him, turning to walk into the night. Horns blare as their car cuts through the city night, the silence inside heavy. Jihan is the first to speak, coolly asking So-hyun why she's staring so hard, joking that she might melt his face. Completely flustered, she quickly looks away. He then turns the tables, openly admiring her features from her eyes to her skin. Feeling challenged, So-hyun starts her own inspection. She sizes up his impressive height and build, reluctantly admitting that he looks good. The thought alone makes her blush, feeling the heat rise in the confined space. So-hyun is absolutely losing her cool in the backseat, thinking this whole situation is driving her crazy. Breaking the tense silence, she finally asks when they're going to get there. After a long crawl through heavy city traffic, the car finally pulls up to their destination. But this isn't her apartment. It's the luxurious Gonggon Business Hotel. Before she can even process it, Jihan is holding up a key card for room 1803. He's made his intentions crystal clear, leaving her no choice but to follow him inside. The hotel room door clicks shut and the lock engages, sealing them inside. In a flash, Jihan has her pinned against the door, his presence completely overwhelming. He gives her absolutely no space to escape, leaning in until their faces are just a breath apart. So-hyun's mind is a mess, unable to process his sudden, dominating move. As he closes the last bit of distance between them, a single question echoes in her thoughts. Why? Whatever is about to happen in this room is going to change everything. The next morning, sunlight floods the room. So-hyun wakes up slowly, clearly feeling the after effects of the previous night. She groans, complaining about how bright it is as she tries to stretch. But then she freezes mid-movement. Her eyes fly open as the memories come flooding back. Turning her head, she sees Jihan sleeping soundly right next to her. The full weight of what happened hits her all at once. She really was with him the entire night. Staring at Jihan in the morning light, So-hyun is hit with a shocking realization. He looks incredibly young. The thought sends a jolt through her, instantly sobering her up from any lingering haze. But she doesn't dwell on it. A hot shower washes away any doubts, leaving her feeling refreshed and clear-headed. With a confident smirk, she comes to a bold conclusion. Forget meditation or spa days. She's decided that men are definitely the best cure for stress. So-hyun gets ready to leave, a smug smile on her face. She admits to herself that it was a very satisfying night. Deciding to show her appreciation, she picks up his designer shirt and notices a button is missing. After a moment of thought, she decides to cover the cost for the repair and cleaning. She neatly places a few bills, the loose button, and a simple note on the table. The note reads, "Last night was fun." With that, she turns and confidently walks out, her heels clicking against the floor as she leaves. The morning quiet is shattered by the shrill ring of the hotel phone. Still half asleep, Jihan slams his hand down to answer it. A cheerful voice from the front desk informs him that it's time to check out. Not in the mood for pleasantries, Jihan bluntly orders them to delay it and hangs up with a thud. He rolls over, a sharp pain shooting through his head. Groaning, he clutches his skull, feeling the full force of a killer hangover from the night's events. Jihan's eyes finally blink open, his head pounding from the night before. Staring at the unfamiliar ceiling, he wonders what room he's in. He drags himself out of the massive bed, his body aching as he makes his way to the mini fridge. Grabbing the nearest bottle of water, he chugs it down, hoping to clear his foggy mind. He can't believe he woke up in a place like this. As his eyes scan the suite, his gaze suddenly freezes on something left on the nearby table. It's a pile of cash, a single button, and a note. Confused, Jihan picks up the note. It's short and to the point. "Last night was fun." A slow smirk forms on his face as he agrees. He had fun, too. He admits it's the first time he's ever been this interested in a woman after their time together. Most would be forgotten by now. But leaving behind cash, a button, and such a blunt message, he finds himself completely hooked by her audacity. This woman is definitely one of a kind, and he's clearly not letting this go. Wasting no time, Jihan gets on the phone, his shirtless frame tense with purpose. He calls an associate, his voice low and demanding. He recalls the table he paid for the night before and asks for one thing: the name of the woman who was there with the other men. His expression is dark, showing just how serious he is about finding her. The scene then shifts to a bright, luxurious hotel cafe. Here, Yeonju and her friends are enjoying an afternoon treat, completely oblivious. They gush over the beautiful decor and the fancy desserts, chattering happily. Yeonju's friends are absolutely loving the fancy cafe, snapping pictures of the desserts and thanking her for the treat. She plays it cool, telling them it's nothing and promising to take them out again soon. But in her mind, she apologizes. This sweet outing isn't her real priority. Her eyes suddenly widen as she spots a familiar figure by the elevator. Bingo! She knows that if the actor Park Min-joon is here, then it can only mean one thing. Jong Ji-han must be in this hotel. 2. A clever smirk spreads across her face. Meanwhile, in a fancy lounge, the gossip is flying. Actor Park Min-joon and his friends are dishing on the latest drama. His friend, Lee Jang-woo, reveals that the untouchable Jong Ji-han is obsessively searching for a woman he spent the night with. But here's the kicker. She's the one who left him. Another friend is completely baffled. The situation gets even wilder when Jang-woo explains that she left behind a simple note and 100,000 won. Their friend's jaw hits the floor. A woman paid and dismissed Jong Ji-han? Unbelievable. Min-joon's friends are absolutely floored by the story. A woman paid off the powerful Jong Ji-han with a mere 100,000 won? They have to admit she's got guts, but they also know she's in some serious trouble now. As they sip their drinks, they all agree there's no way Ji-han will rest until he tracks her down. They raise their glasses in a grim toast to the poor woman. One of them nervously hopes this gossip doesn't get back to them. Just then, actress Jang Yuran makes a grand entrance, cheerfully greeting the table. The guys are stunned as the famous actress Jang Yuran crashes their gossip session. One of them excitedly calls her Sunbinim, clearly a big fan. Min-joon seems a little wary and asks how she managed to find them. Yuran plays it cool, claiming she was just in the area buying desserts for her staff. But then she drops the act, winks, and points right at Min-joon. With a flirty smile, she admits she spotted her Min-joon oppa and just had to follow him. The other guys immediately start clapping, completely charmed by her bold move. Min-joon isn't buying Yuran's flirty act for a second. He sighs, clearly not in the mood for games. He flatly tells her it's nice to see her, but he came here for a specific reason. Suddenly, Yuran's playful demeanor vanishes. She scans the room, demanding to know where he is. The guys are completely lost. Getting impatient, she snaps at them, accusing them of pretending not to know. Done with the conversation, She dramatically plops onto the couch and declares that she'll just wait for him there. One of the guys points out that she's sitting in Jong Jihan's usual seat. Unfazed, Yuron sips her drink and tells them not to look at her like an uninvited guest, claiming she has every right to be there. The friends are totally confused, wondering what gives her the right to act so familiar. Yuron just smirks, enjoying their bewilderment. Then, she drops a massive bombshell, casually mentioning that just last night, she and Jihan Appa were together, implying their relationship gives her all the permission she needs. The scene jumps to a glitzy press event for a new drama. Cameras flash everywhere as Jang Yuron, hailed as the undisputed top actress in South Korea, poses flawlessly. Minjun explains that he reconnected with her at this event after a long time. It was right after this production meeting that she happened to run into the friends he was supposed to meet. Back in the present, one of the guys sees Minjun walk in and greets him. He then notices the actress, awkwardly saying hello to their unexpected celebrity guest. The story cuts to a flashback of Kang So-hyun and Jong Ji-han. He playfully teases her, asking if she's jealous for not calling him actor like she did for another woman. So-hyun realizes this might be the very moment she started to fall for him. In a separate memory, Jang Yuron confronts Minjun after their event, desperate to know about his friend. She clarifies she means the tall, handsome one who ignored her. Minjun finally understands she's talking about Jihan and Yuron swoons, gushing that even his name is perfect. Back in the flashback, Jang Yuron shamelessly begs Minjun to introduce her to his friend, insisting Jihan is her perfect type. Minjun is hesitant, explaining it's difficult, but she refuses to listen, even calling him Appa to get her way. He finds her persistence incredibly annoying. Realizing she would bother him endlessly, he reluctantly explained the situation to Jihan over the phone. Thanks to Jihan agreeing, the two met yesterday. But in the present, Minjun has a shocking realization. Was this actress even the girl Jihan was looking for? Jang Yuron excitedly asks Minjun if Jihan was really looking for her. She playfully calls Jihan a little fox, wondering if he was just shy when he suddenly told her to leave their meeting. She then boasts that her bold move was simply too much for him to handle, deciding his unpredictable nature is his greatest charm. As she daydreams, Minjun and his friends are completely silent. It finally clicks for Minjun. The woman Jihan was searching for was definitely not Jang Yuron. Suddenly, Yuron's eyes light up as someone new arrives. Jang Yuron's eyes widen as Jong Jihan finally walks in. She excitedly calls out his name and rushes to throw her arms around him, asking what took him so long. But her warm welcome is met with an ice-cold shoulder. Jihan doesn't even look up from his phone, effortlessly brushing past her as if she were a ghost. He walks over to Minjun and offers him a drink, completely ignoring her existence. Stunned and humiliated, Yuron points out that she's there too, but Jihan continues to act like she's invisible. As Jihan remains glued to his phone, Minjun's friends murmur that he wouldn't even notice if they badmouthed him. But they know he's only here because he wants to be. Suddenly, Jang Yuron explodes. Shaking with pure rage, she demands to know why she's being ignored. She wildly claims that he was looking for her all day, unable to forget an intense kiss they supposedly shared. Her delusion is cut short when Jihan finally looks up, a cold smirk on his face. He simply says, "It's not you." The rejection is brutal and absolute. Jihan twists the knife, coldly asking Jang Yuron why he would ever look for her. Completely stunned, she desperately demands to know who he was with the previous night. He simply states that if he knew, he wouldn't be searching. Seeing the drama, Minjun steps in. He explains he needs the details for his own peace of mind, since he's stuck working with a delusional Yuron. Visibly annoyed, Jihan finally reveals the location, Cheongdamdong Karaoke. The name makes a dark-haired woman nearby whip her head around in complete shock. Jang Yuron explodes, questioning if Jihan went to that karaoke bar with her only to meet another woman after she left. Nearby, Kang So-hyun freezes. The color drains from her face as she realizes she was the one who walked into that room. While everyone else watches the drama unfold, Yuron has a sudden, delusional epiphany. She coyly suggests the woman must have kept quiet to protect her from a scandal. But before she can continue, Park Min-jun steps in. He coolly informs Jihan that the woman didn't see his face. Jihan's piercing gaze lands directly on Kang So-hyun. He remembers everything. He knows she was the one staring at him that night. Feeling the weight of his stare, So-hyun freezes, completely flustered. A chillingly confident voice seems to cut through the noise, telling her to back off. He declares she's already lost to him when it comes to looks. The incredibly arrogant remark hits her like a physical blow, and she begins to tremble, utterly speechless. From his seat, Jihan enjoys the chaos, a smug smirk on his face. While his co-workers try to decompress from the intense drama, Jong Jihan remains completely unfazed. A quiet buzz from his phone suddenly cuts through the room. He glances down, and his amused expression instantly shifts to one of focused triumph. A wicked, calculating smirk spreads across his face as he looks at the screen. Whatever information he just received has confirmed exactly what he wanted to know. In his mind, one single thought rings out with absolute certainty. He has found her. With his friends, Jong Jihan brings up a company called Hyunjin Planning. His associates quickly identify it as a top advertising agency. Cutting through the small talk, Jihan asks if they've found anything. A dark, predatory smirk spreads across his face as he puts his phone down. He coolly informs them that he's already found her. She's an assistant manager there. His friends are stunned by his speed, calling his methods scary. Jihan simply leans back, revealing he was at their table the day before and had already calculated his next move. Jihan's friends are totally losing it. One of them yells out, shocked that the ice-cold Jong Jihan would actually spend money on a woman he just met. They realize his intense reaction isn't normal. It's definitely not just about the money. This woman is different. Ignoring them, Jihan calmly asks about her job title. His friend explains that an assistant manager at a top company like Hyunjin is a decent gig, putting her in her early 30s. But Jihan cuts him off. He clarifies he wasn't thinking about her age, but the day of the week. It's Saturday, meaning she won't be at work. A dark look crosses Jong Jihan's face as he takes a sip of his drink. He already has a plan, and it starts on Monday. His friends watch in disbelief, one of them even muttering a prayer for the unsuspecting woman. They know that when Jihan gets this fixated, it's serious. The scene shifts to a massive, gleaming office building on that dreaded Monday morning. Meanwhile, his target stumbles through the city streets, clutching an iced coffee. She looks totally wiped out, complaining to herself about her crowded subway ride and Friday's hangover. After a weekend that felt like it never ended, Kang So-hyun stares up at her massive office building. She forces a smile, but on the inside, she's thinking about how much Mondays suck. Just as she walks in, her super energetic junior, Yeonju, greets her. Yeonju praises So-hyun for not driving, calling her a model employee. She then gushes over how So-hyun has flawless skin despite constantly working overtime. So-hyun just smirks, offering to share her secret dermatologist. Yeonju is totally ecstatic, not knowing her boss is the target of a very powerful man. Suddenly, the screech of tires shatters the morning quiet. A jaw-dropping Bugatti Chiron pulls up to the office building, and the entire lobby loses its mind. Everyone starts snapping pictures, buzzing with excitement, and guessing that a huge celebrity has arrived. So-hyun can only stare, completely stunned by the insane car. Then the door opens. A mysterious man in sunglasses steps out, walking with an unshakable confidence that demands attention. So-hyun is absolutely captivated, whispering, "Wow," to herself. Little does she know, she's the reason for this whole spectacle. On her way to work, Police Deputy Kang So-hyun finds herself completely captivated. A man with an almost unreal presence walks by, looking like he stepped right out of a high-end commercial. For a moment, she's lost in the sight, thinking it's a small reward for surviving her crowded morning commute. But the daydream ends quickly. Shaking her head with a small smile, So-hyun refocuses on the day ahead. She has an important meeting and can't afford any distractions, no matter how pleasant. With renewed purpose, she heads into the office. As the crowd buzzes, a smooth voice cuts through the air, and Kang So-hyun goes completely still. She knows that voice. The mysterious man pulls off his sunglasses, revealing a dangerously smug smile. He asks if she lost sleep thinking about him. So-hyun is absolutely floored, staring into his unforgettable gray eyes. A flash of a very intimate night rushes back to her, making her breath catch. He leans closer, his tone leaving no room for argument, promising that if she's forgotten what happened between them, he won't let it slide. It all clicks in a flash of panic. So-hyun realizes he's the rookie from the karaoke place. The shock sends her stumbling backward, her drink sloshing in her hand. Her mind races, questioning what he's doing here. But he gives her no time to think. With a determined look, he stalks towards her, each step echoing her rising fear. Before she can even breathe, he grabs her, pulling her right against him. He leans in, commenting on finally seeing her in the daylight, his grip leaving no room for escape. He leans in, his voice a low whisper against her skin as he tells her she's even more stunning in person. Before Kang So-hyun can process the words, he closes the small gap between them, sending a jolt of pure shock through her. The onlookers gasp, and one of her own junior employees stares in disbelief, recognizing her as the assistant manager. Pinned against him in front of everyone, So-hyun's face flushes with pure humiliation. Trapped in his unyielding hold, she can only manage a weak plea for him to stop. Flustered and cornered, Kang So-hyun demands to know if he's lost his mind. But the man just gives her a smug grin, completely ignoring her panic. He leans in and compliments her amazing voice, which only throws her off even more. Meanwhile, her junior employee is eating this up, watching the real-life drama unfold. His grip on her tightens, a clear sign he's not letting go. A single, terrifying thought rushes through So-hyun's mind. She is absolutely screwed. Before Kang So-hyun can even process what's happening, Jong Ji-han grabs her wrist and demands she come with him. She struggles against his grip, but he's not budging. Annoyed, she asks where he's dragging her, but her mind is just screaming for an escape from this planet. He pulls her away without another word, marching right past her stunned colleagues. So-hyun is absolutely furious. Even her parents don't know her private business, but this random guy has the nerve to make a huge scene at her office. Just when So-hyun thinks things can't get any worse, a man walks into her office, demanding to see her. He announces to the entire room that he's looking for the Kang So-hyun, who spent a very special Friday night with him. The office goes silent as every head snaps in her direction. So-hyun's mind short-circuits. Her promotion is on the line. Her manager completely loses it, screaming at her for creating such a scandal. Utterly humiliated, So-hyun knows she has to get rid of this guy immediately before her career is toast. So-hyun completely loses it, grabbing the troublemaker by his shirt. She furiously demands to know if he's crazy, pulling a stunt like this at her job. But the man just flashes a smug grin, clearly enjoying the chaos he's created. He calmly says he thought she'd like his surprise visit. Absolutely livid, So-hyun asks how he even found her office in the first place. His smile instantly vanishes, replaced by a cold, unsettling stare that sends a shiver down her spine. The man leans in, his voice low, telling So-hyun she did something cute. He then asks for her thoughts on a 100,000 won service, his gaze turning intense and demanding an answer. Completely floored, So-hyun asks if he's implying that he bought her. A sudden memory of the cash she left him flashes in her mind, and she realizes the misunderstanding. She quickly clarifies that the money was meant to cover the cost of his torn buttons. Even though his logic makes absolutely no sense, she finds herself strangely captivated. So-hyun desperately tries to make him understand, questioning why else she would have left money. She insists it wasn't payment and tells him to clear up his misunderstanding immediately. But Min-jun's expression turns serious. He completely ignores her point, reminding her that what happened between them was mutual. He says they were together until dawn simply because they both wanted to be. Flustered, So-hyun is left speechless, internally regretting ever leaving the cash. Pulling herself together, she crosses her arms and asks if he has time to talk now. Trying to keep her composure, So-hyun asks why he wants to talk. Instead of answering, Min-jun closes the distance, whispering that he wants to spend time together. He pulls her in, his voice low as he admits he's been holding back all weekend and that it was tough. Looking her straight in the eye, he asks if she felt the same. A deep blush creeps across So-hyun's face. Overwhelmed and embarrassed, she mutters an apology and quickly turns away from his intense gaze, unable to give him a real answer. So-hyun tries to push him away, explaining her personal rule to end things with a guy after spending one night together. With a confident smirk, Min-jun simply calls her innocent. Flustered, she insists that nothing good ever comes from it and that her conscience is bothering her. He brushes off her concern, telling her it wouldn't be like that with him. Although she firmly rejects the idea, he leans in closer, whispering that she's just pretending they're not compatible. So-hyun falls silent, a deep blush on her face as she remembers just how special their night was. So-hyun freezes as a new, intimidating man suddenly corners her, gripping her arm tightly. She immediately recognizes that this guy is dangerous. With a smug grin, he tells her it seems her body controls her mind and asks if he's right. A chill runs down her spine. He leans in closer, his voice low and possessive as he reminds her of their past. He says that with that body, he was the one who held her. Completely stunned by his sudden appearance and aggressive words, So-hyun can only gasp in shock. Jong Ji-han coldly lectures So-hyun, saying that as a newcomer to the workforce, she shouldn't be bringing personal matters to the office. He dismisses their past entirely, stating their night together was trivial to him and he won't waste any more time or energy on her. As a final, cutting remark, he tells her not to get involved if she isn't interested. Completely stunned by his harsh words, So-hyun steps back. Her heart pounds in her chest as she wonders if this means it's finally over and if she can escape to work. Still reeling from his harsh dismissal, So-hyun decides she's had enough and turns to leave with a quick, fine adios. But before she can escape, Ji-han stops her cold, asking if she even knows how old he is. The random question completely throws her off, and she halts in confusion. His playful demeanor vanishes, replaced by an icy stare. In a low, menacing voice, he asks exactly how old he has to be to make her life even more exhausting. The question hangs in the air, a clear and terrifying warning. So-hyun stares at the man cornering her, shocked by how young he looks. His skin is absolutely flawless. A terrifying thought hits her like a truck. Could this guy actually be a minor? She inwardly screams, trying to deny it. But he just smirks and casually asks when her lunch break is. He suddenly pulls her in close, and as a cop, So-hyun's mind races with the severe legal penalties for what he's implying. He gives her a choice: contact him later, or come with him right now. She's completely trapped. Kang So-hyun runs her hands through her hair in disbelief. Jihan's suggestion hangs in the air: skipping one day of work isn't a big deal. She thinks he is completely out of his mind. Turning on her heel, she walks away, her mind racing. So-hyun reflects that she's never felt guilty for chasing her desires, believing that honesty about one's needs is no crime. But this encounter changed everything. After meeting someone even more intense than she is, she realizes how dangerous this all is. She vows to never do it again. Lost in a crowd, So-hyun's mind spirals. She can't believe she's getting involved with some young guy whose name she doesn't even know. Her panic is cut short by a sudden commotion. Later at the office, her bubbly junior, Yeonju, bounces over. Dying of curiosity, she asks who the handsome man was that came looking for her earlier. So-hyun plays dumb, but Yeonju clarifies with a huge, excited grin, calling him that cool high school student. The confirmation hits So-hyun hard, and she freezes in absolute terror. So-hyun tries to play it cool, telling Yeonju the guy is just some kid she knows. But when her junior starts gushing, asking if the good-looking guy is her celebrity boyfriend, So-hyun's smile turns strained. She quickly shuts it down, calling him a nasty jerk she would never introduce to a friend. Deciding she needs to draw a clear line and erase him from her life, she steps outside for some air. Staring at her phone, her frustration finally boils over. She can't believe this punk had the nerve to mess with her. Riding in a car, So-hyun's anger turns into a cold, calculated smirk. She's handled difficult clients before and refuses to be dragged around by some punk kid. Vowing to tear his childish threats apart, she decides to show him how a real adult handles things. Meanwhile, Park Min-joon checks his phone. He had sent her 100,000 won and asked for her location. Her only reply was a single, infuriating word: wait. Completely stunned and a little annoyed, Min-joon can only stare at the message, left hanging by her bold move. The next morning in the meeting room, it's a scene of pure misery. Team leader Han Sung-joon and his coworker look like they're on their last legs, completely hungover from the company dinner. Suddenly, So-hyun breezes in, looking perfectly fine with a coffee in hand. Sung-joon groans, asking how she looks so refreshed while they feel awful. He jokingly accuses her of secretly dumping her expensive drinks. With a smug grin, So-hyun tells them they need to learn how to properly handle a hangover if they want to be considered good drinkers. So-hyun tries to kickstart the meeting, laying out their urgent deadline to present a design draft to Jae-sang. But her team looks totally defeated, radiating pure funeral vibes. She tries to pump them up, insisting they'll survive this together. The brainstorming session is a total dud, though. The clock ticks away as they go in circles, shooting down every idea for being unoriginal or too similar to a competitor's. Just as despair sets in, a light bulb goes off for So-hyun. She declares they're throwing out the old playbook and trying something completely different. Team leader Sung-joon skeptically asks So-hyun if she actually has an idea. She recalls the awful dinner where their client, Jae-sang, kept making gross, old-fashioned comments about how women peak at 25. Her coworkers cringe at the memory. But for So-hyun, this is a major clue. She explains that his fixation reveals a hidden anxiety. He's realizing the growing social and economic power of women. Her brilliant new plan is simple. The company has only ever used male leads. It's time to make a commercial that speaks directly to women, one they can't resist. So-hyun challenges her baffled team, asking why a woman would spend a fortune on a pedicure. The guys toss out clueless guesses, suggesting it's for attention or to show off. So-hyun slaps a note on the board, cutting them off. She declares they're completely wrong. For women, it's all about style. She then paints a vivid picture for their new commercial. A stunning woman in a sleek, diamond-adorned dress glides up a grand staircase. The image is so perfect and luxurious, it's designed to make viewers crave the amazing 8K TV it's advertising. So-hyun continues her pitch, her voice brimming with confidence. She explains the TV's quality is so sharp it makes her eyes pop. In her commercial concept, the elegant woman turns around as the camera zooms into her eyes. The big reveal? Reflected in them is the viewer herself, watching from her own sofa. The viewer sighs, totally mesmerized by the luxurious scene on screen. So-hyun then drops the final, killer tagline for the campaign: adorn the pinnacle of style. Her team is officially blown away by the brilliant idea. With the meeting wrapped, Sohyun confidently tells her team to regroup tomorrow. As she strides out, her co-workers' opinions are split. The men call her the tyrant, admitting that while she's tough and will drag you to get her way, her results are always incredible. Meanwhile, her female juniors watch her with total admiration, inspired by how amazing she is at her job. But the moment Sohyun is alone in the break room, the powerful facade crumbles. She leans against a closed door and downs a supplement, the exhaustion from the immense pressure finally showing. But Sohyun doesn't get a second to breathe. She slams back the supplement, a jolt of energy hitting her instantly. The tired facade vanishes, replaced by pure, sharp focus. With renewed determination, she declares it's time to move on to her next target. Later that night, she's navigating the busy city streets, already on the phone. She asks the person on the other end for their location and the time. A voice replies on the other end. It's 8:30. For Sohyun, the workday is clearly far from over. The voice on the phone tells Sohyun he's at a nearby cafe. Annoyed, she retorts that there are dozens of cafes in the area and demands the name. But the guy on the other end is feeling a little cheeky. He tells her he doesn't know the name and that she should just find him herself. Then he hangs up. Sohyun is absolutely floored for a second, a vein pulsing on her forehead. She wonders if this is payback for being late and considers just going home, when suddenly her phone buzzes with a message. With a sarcastic smile plastered on her face, Sohyun steps into another cafe. Her patience is hanging by a thread. This is the 8th spot she's had to check. She silently vows that if he isn't here, she's going home for good. But then, she stops dead in her tracks. There he is, Park Min-joon, completely passed out on a sofa. A mountain of empty coffee mugs sits on the table before him. The sharp clicking of her heels fills the air as she marches directly toward him, stopping just inches away. Min-joon's eyes flutter open, and the first thing he sees is Sohyun looming over him. A brilliantly sarcastic smile is plastered on her face as she sweetly thanks him for making her suffer. But instead of getting an apology, her words hit him like a lightning bolt. His heart suddenly starts hammering in his chest, making him wonder if it's because he's looking at her. Sohyun is totally baffled by his weird reaction. Then, her eyes fall on the mountain of empty coffee cups, and a wild thought crosses her mind. Could it just be the caffeine? Sohyun's eyes widen as she takes in the scene. She realizes he's not just wired. He's about to crash, and hard. The guy looks completely wrecked, and she wonders if he's been sitting here since the sun came up. Deciding he's in no condition to talk, she spots the last half-full cup of coffee on the table. Without a word, she grabs the mug and downs it in one go, much to Min-joon's silent surprise. She slams the cup back down, cutting straight to the point. There's no need for small talk, she announces. First, they're going to meet his parents. Min-joon is absolutely floored by her demand. The caffeine seems to kick in all at once, and he snaps upright. Sohyun, thinking he's being difficult, gets even more annoyed. She tells him that if he's a minor, then they have nothing to talk about. She'll just go straight to the adults. But her condescending tone flips a switch in him. Min-joon's dazed expression vanishes, replaced by a sudden, intense gaze. He tells her in a low voice that she'll talk to him, and only him. Sohyun is completely caught off guard. Jihan leans in, smugly asking Sohyun if she enjoys breaking the law and commenting that she should have borrowed some clothes. Exasperated, Sohyun sighs, calling his assumptions ridiculous, but admitting his arrival made the risk worthwhile. She's just relieved she won't be seeing the inside of a jail cell. Getting down to business, she demands to know what he wants. She'll listen, but only if he promises never to show up at her workplace again. And another intimate encounter is completely off the table. Seeing his dejected expression, she snaps in frustration, realizing negotiating is pointless. That night, the conversation takes a sharp turn. Min-joon calmly states that the body doesn't lie, and that should be enough proof for her. Sohyun's hand tightens into a fist, clearly annoyed by his bluntness. He then reminds her of how incredibly happy she was when they were together, questioning why she's suddenly saying no now. Flustered, she has no immediate answer. He looks away, coolly adding that he's already explained his principles on the matter. It's clear he has no intention of budging from his position.
Minyoon's tone suddenly gets sharp.
He tells Sohyun to wake up, accusing her of messing with people's lives so recklessly. He then acknowledges that his words must have shaken her up. Deciding he can at least make one concession, he changes his approach. Sohyun stays completely silent, only shifting uncomfortably in her seat. That's when Min-joon leans in with a confident smirk. He lays down his new condition. She has to meet him 3 more times. Just like that, he takes full control of the situation again. Sohyun is completely thrown by his demand, wondering why things always have to get so complicated. Min-joon then brings up the night they shared, calling it absolutely unforgettable. Her heart pounds in her chest, but she tries to stay firm, reminding herself she came here to end things for good. Before she can argue, he clarifies his shocking proposal. Is it just 3 meetings or 3 more nights? With a dark smirk, he makes it crystal clear he wants the latter, leaving her utterly speechless and trapped in his game once again. So-hyun goes completely silent, her mind racing. She finally admits to herself that Min-jun was spot on. Her body and mind are totally at odds. She promised herself she wouldn't get close to him again, but keeping that promise feels impossible. A powerful memory of their night together suddenly floods her thoughts. It was an intense connection, a level of pleasure she had never known before. Shaking off the vivid memory, she hardens her resolve. This exhausting push and pull has to stop, and she's determined to be the one to end it for good. Min-jun finally breaks the heavy silence with a smirk, calling So-hyun out for taking so long to think. Internally, she's just being cautious, worried he'll get clingy after their proposed 3 nights. He then simplifies his offer with a casual shrug. They should just have fun together, no strings attached. So-hyun sarcastically fires back about his simple plan, adding that she's not staying long anyway. This catches his attention. He reveals he's only in Korea once a year, and with her, he thinks his visit could finally be fun. So-hyun turns away, completely flustered by his bold proposition. Min-jun smirks, calling her out for knowing exactly how to toy with people. He leans in closer, reminding her that their complicated dynamic will end the moment he leaves the country anyway. With that logic, he asks a dangerous question. Why not just enjoy themselves until then? Before So-hyun can even process his words, he places a document on the table. It's a plane ticket to the United States, and it has her name written all over it. So-hyun's mind zeroes in on a single fact: he's leaving in 14 days. Needing clarity, she asks if he's sure this arrangement will end properly. Min-jun leans in, his voice low, and promises to disappear from her life completely, even from her memory. So-hyun questions the appeal of seeing the same person for 2 weeks, telling him to find someone else. But Min-jun simply shrugs it off, pointing out that she loves breaking the rules. So-hyun smirks. She finally understands. No loyalty, no possession, just a temporary escape with him. So-hyun makes up her mind. She'll enjoy this fling and end it without looking back, just like him. She looks at Min-jun and agrees, but sets a hard limit: 3 nights. A smirk creeps across his face, but she cuts him off, stating she has a few conditions. If he breaks even one of her rules, their little arrangement is over for good. Intrigued by her sudden confidence, Min-jun tells her he's listening. Satisfied, So-hyun reveals her first demand. He needs to help her with something, and she tells him to listen carefully. So-hyun lays out her first condition, pointing a finger right at Min-jun. She orders him to never, ever show up near her workplace again. She reminds him that she's a working professional and asks if he is, too. Min-jun coolly replies that he's not. Perfect. So-hyun smirks, noting his unemployed status means they play by her rules. They'll meet after she gets off work, but her hours are insane, sometimes as late as 2 a.m. Far from being annoyed, Min-jun's gaze intensifies, telling her that's exactly when he wants her. So-hyun swallows hard, flustered by his intense stare. Min-jun finally agrees to her 3 times rule, a confident smirk playing on his lips. But she quickly adds another condition: no repeat of their last marathon session. Completely unfazed, he just replies, "We'll see," and asks what's next. Annoyed by his casual response, So-hyun insists their activities can't affect her performance at work. He just waves her on, telling her to continue. So-hyun is left fuming, realizing this bold guy already thinks he's won their little negotiation. So-hyun lays down her next big rule: absolutely no questions about their private lives. They know each other's names and numbers, and that's where it ends. Getting personal is off limits. She warns him that if he ever gets too involved, their arrangement is over instantly. Unfazed, Min-jun simply asks if she's finished. When she confirms and asks if he has any rules, he smirks. His condition is simple but absolute: when he calls, she comes. He adds a chilling warning that if she ever makes him wait again, it won't be fun for her. So-hyun's heart suddenly thumps in her chest. A wave of realization hits her, and she finally understands why she's so drawn to this guy. He turns and confidently walks away, leaving her to process the intense negotiation. It all clicks into place for her. This man isn't just going to follow her rules or let her be in charge. He knows exactly how to fight back, to match her will with his own. And that powerful defiance is precisely what she finds so compelling. Meanwhile, powerful elite Jong Jihan enters a room, feeling his body turn heavy. Something is definitely wrong. His mind is sharp, but his tongue is numb and his limbs feel sluggish. He wonders if it's because of the coffee he drank earlier. Instead of panicking, he pulls his sweater off, a strange heat building within him. A dark, knowing smirk spreads across his face. Whatever was meant to trap him has just unleashed something far more dangerous, and he seems ready to embrace it completely. Jong Jihan wakes up in bed, a smug smile playing on his lips. His mind is completely consumed by one person, Kang Sohyun. He decides this overwhelming feeling is all her fault. He can't stop thinking about her arrogant gaze, her bold and assertive nature, and the way she knows exactly how to tease. As the memory of her captivating smile flashes in his mind, he realizes the powerful effect she has on him. He's completely under her spell, and it's clear she's gotten under his skin in a dangerous way. Jong Jihan remains in bed, his mind consumed by a fantasy of Kang Sohyun. He imagines her leaning in, making a bold and daring suggestion right there in the car. He realizes she's the type who never holds back her desires, and he's intensely curious to see that side of her. Admitting he's never met a woman so captivating, he can't get her out of his head. Suddenly, his phone vibrates violently on the nightstand, yanking him back to reality. Annoyed by the interruption, he sits up, wondering why the phone wasn't on silent. Jong Jihan's mind is buzzing, completely consumed by the woman from the night before. He can't shake the memory of Kang Sohyun, fixating on the unique beauty mark by her lips. He remembers how it would lift when she smiled and how it changed during their passionate encounter. Lost in the memory, he realizes he could watch her all day and never get tired of it. This woman was different. A new and powerful obsession begins to take hold of him, demanding he find her again. Snatching his phone, Jihan's brief hope that it might be Sohyun is instantly crushed. He taps the screen, and an angry voice immediately blasts through the speaker. It's his grandfather, yelling about how many times he had to call. He accuses Jihan of messing around all day and warns him to clean up his act, reminding him that there are always eyes on him. Completely unfazed by the lecture, Jihan rubs his aching head and coldly tells the old man to lower his voice. The old man keeps yelling, now worried that Jihan has a headache and is sick from living abroad. But Jihan is completely done with this conversation and declares he's going to sleep. His grandfather explodes, threatening to storm the hotel, but it's too late. Jihan hangs up and tosses his phone aside. He sinks into bed, feeling nauseous and thinking it's a good thing he didn't use up one of their meetings. Then again, he wonders if the number is too low, realizing Sohyun would probably just ask for more. Lying awake, Jihan obsesses over the 3 meetings Sohyun granted him. He wonders how to make them count, but then a paranoid thought hits. What if she dumps him before he can even use them? Time always used to drag on for him, but now it feels like it's speeding up. Meanwhile, in a meeting room, someone tells manager Kim they trust her and to proceed. Smiling confidently, she gets to work on her laptop. But just as she starts, her fingers freeze. Her smile vanishes as she stares at her screen, her expression turning serious and focused. Sohyun's mind flashes back to Jihan's warning. He told her if she ever made him wait again, it wouldn't be fun for her, demanding she at least look like she was enjoying herself. Back in the present, she walks down a dark hallway, suitcase in tow. She flips on the lights, surprised he left so calmly earlier and didn't use one of his 3 chances. It's a relief he hasn't contacted her because right now, she's completely drained and has no energy left to deal with him. Riding the elevator, Sohyun's phone buzzes with a message from Jihan demanding to see her. She knew it. She had a feeling he'd pull something unexpected. The timing is awful, as she has a client meeting. But Jihan is relentless, blowing up her phone with calls until she finally answers. Annoyed, she tells him he has 10 minutes to get to the point. From his high-rise apartment, Jihan calmly replies that her limits only make him want her more. Exasperated, Sohyun just demands to know the time. Sohyun suggests 7 o'clock, pointing out that she needs time to get ready after work. She throws in a sarcastic jab, saying a man who's never had a real job wouldn't understand. Unfazed, Jihan simply tells her she should be able to handle his conditions. Stuck in gridlock traffic, she warns him that he better show up once the time is set. He ignores her struggle and gives a final, non-negotiable order: be at the Seoul Premium Hotel by 7 sharp. He promises a reward for her effort but warns he won't forgive her being late. Sohyun's frustration finally boils over in the car. With a sudden snap, her bracelet breaks, scattering beads across the dashboard. She grips the steering wheel, fuming. She can't believe she let Jihan's attitude slide, and now he just keeps pushing her. As horns blare around her in the gridlocked traffic, she has a stunning realization. In her career, she's faced the most arrogant clients and powerful industry players. But never before has a single phone call made her feel so completely suffocated and out of control. Sohyun's mind floods with memories of Jihan. The man is pure chaos. The first time they met, he was with another woman and didn't even flinch when he saw her. He had the nerve to barge into her team's client meeting, acting like he owned the entire building. The man clearly has no fear and does whatever he wants. Snapping back to the present, she grips the wheel, questioning her own sanity. Why on earth did she make a deal with someone like him? Just as she sinks into regret, the gridlock breaks. Ditching the gridlocked car, Sohyun takes a new approach. She strides purposefully towards the massive Seoul Premium Hotel, arriving with time to spare. A quick glance at her watch confirms it, 6:40 p.m. A wicked, triumphant smirk spreads across her face. She's not just on time, she's 20 minutes early. Mentally, she calls Jihan a rookie, celebrating that she managed to leave work on schedule for the first time in her life. In this little power game between them, Sohyun firmly believes she has just won the first round. Basking in her victory, Sohyun tries to hide a smug smile. She tells herself it's not a competition, but she's definitely keeping score. Pulling out her phone, she confidently calls Jihan to announce her arrival. After getting his attention, an awkward silence hangs between them until he asks why she hasn't hung up. She fumbles for an excuse, claiming she was waiting for him to end the call first. He ignores her explanation, simply stating that her breathing sounds unique. Before she can react, he gives a strange order. Put her lips close to the phone. Sohyun decides this guy is not normal. What's even weirder is that she's actually going along with his bizarre request in a crowded hotel lobby. Against her better judgment, she obeys his strange command. Just then, a nearby elevator opens with a soft chime. Her eyes go wide with shock. Standing right in front of her is Jihan, his own phone still pressed to his ear. He wasn't just on the line. He was right here, listening to her the entire time. The power game just completely flipped on her. Jihan leans in, a smug look on his face, and points out that she's so shocked her breathing stopped. Sohyun's face flushes, completely caught off guard. But she refuses to back down. In a bold move, she closes the distance until her lips are just inches from his ear, causing his eyes to widen in surprise. He challenges her, asking if she wants him to keep listening. With a sly, confident smirk, Sohyun pulls back and delivers her final counter. He had better behave. The tables have turned once again. Just as Sohyun gains the upper hand, a new player enters the scene. The heir, Young Min-soo. With a confident smirk, he makes her a tempting offer, promising a reward if she just comes with him. The elevator doors open, and she follows him out. Sohyun tells herself she isn't drunk, but as she watches him walk ahead, she can't deny her heart is pounding. When they arrive at their destination, an employee immediately greets Min-soo, making it clear that this guy is a seriously big deal. Sohyun playfully compliments Min-soo, telling him he looks even more handsome than last year. He just smiles, coolly accepting the flattery. She follows him, a little flustered, reminding him she only comes to Korea once a year. But instead of a hotel room, he leads her to a breathtaking private restaurant overlooking the entire city. Confused, Sohyun asks why they aren't going straight to the room. Min-soo calmly hands her a menu, smoothly telling her she needs to eat to keep her strength up. A slow smile spreads across her face. This guy is full of surprises. Sohyun playfully asks if he's feeding her. She turns the tables with a smirk, suggesting he's the one who'll need his energy later. But Min-soo is one step ahead. Leaning in with a slick grin, he tells her that for tonight, she can use all her strength while he just lies still. His bold counteroffer leaves Sohyun completely speechless and blushing hard. Trying to recover, she questions if he's any good at following orders. He just watches her, amused, as she confidently takes charge and begins ordering their meal. As Sohyun takes charge of ordering, Min-soo watches her intently. He notices that while she seems to be ignoring him, she keeps sneaking glances his way, silently checking if he approves. He finds her perceptiveness impressive and can't hold back an amused smile. Across the table, Sohyun picks up on his quiet observation. She recognizes it not as disinterest, but as a natural and subtle form of consideration, a gentle gesture that she finds herself genuinely appreciating. It's a quiet moment of mutual understanding between the two. As Sohyun sips her drink, she enjoys the comfortable silence between them, realizing Min-soo isn't such a bad guy. For someone whose job requires constant talking, this quiet moment feels like a genuine break. But Min-soo cuts through the calm, observing that she seems to keep herself incredibly busy. A little surprised by his perceptiveness, Sohyun simply explains that she enjoys investing in herself and dressing up. She keeps the real reason to herself, that she must always be ready for a client, doubting he would understand that part of her life. Jong Jihan breaks the silence, asking Sohyun if something is bothering her. When she says no, he smirks, revealing he was just wondering how many accessories he should buy for her. Shocked, she asks why he would do that. He explains it's a gift for their third meeting, but Sohyun immediately shuts the idea down. She states that their rule of not asking for anything also means not leaving things behind. With a firm tone, she tells him not to add unnecessary complications. An intense quiet falls over the table, only to be broken by the waiter arriving. With the tension broken by the arrival of their food, So-hyun takes a bite and is immediately in heaven. She savors the steak, absolutely delighted with her choice of wine to go with it. For a moment, she's completely lost in her own happy world. But her peace is shattered when her phone suddenly buzzes. Annoyed, she puts on a professional smile and answers the call from her manager, confirming she'll handle some issues from an earlier meeting. Jihan watches her, silently thinking he was just about to call her himself. So-hyun expertly handles her work call, smoothly confirming a future dinner meeting with a client. Throughout the conversation, Jihan remains silent, his own meal sitting untouched as he watches her. After hanging up, she takes a breath and tries to salvage the evening, asking if they can try to be happy again. But Jihan isn't interested in smoothing things over. He looks at her coldly, pointing out that her food is getting cold and bluntly telling her to finish it, flipping the awkward tension right back onto her. Jihan breaks the tense silence, demanding to know who is on the phone. So-hyun is totally caught off guard by his directness. He points out how incredibly smooth she sounded, a clear jab at her professional charm. She scoffs, explaining that he wouldn't understand the effort it takes to be convincing. Taking a bite of her steak, she coolly flips the script, telling him not to act so inexperienced in front of her. After a long pause, Jihan quietly admits that even without trying so hard, she's already more than convincing enough. So-hyun enjoys her food, completely unfazed by the heavy atmosphere. Jihan quietly watches her before breaking the silence, asking how the food is. But she's not having it. She coolly replies that this isn't her first time here, completely shutting down his attempt to impress her. Taking a smug sip of wine, she thinks she's won the round. That is, until Jihan suddenly grabs her arm. His tone changes completely as he demands that she look at him, repeating his question with a chilling intensity. How is the food? Realizing she might have pushed him too far, So-hyun smoothly changes her tune. With a playful smile, she admits the food tastes much better than usual, cheekily asking if it's because he's there. The unexpected flattery works. Jihan silently resumes eating. Internally, So-hyun congratulates herself on her clever move and excuses herself from the table. Alone in the restroom, she pulls out her makeup bag, deciding she needs a quick touch-up before heading back to face him for round 2. As So-hyun heads back, she hypes herself up, deciding there's no need to impress a youngster like Jihan. This isn't a date, just two people having a good time. She overhears an employee telling Jihan that President Young and his family recently visited. Back at the table, So-hyun feels something weird on her lips. She touches her mouth, confused for a moment. Then it hits her. Her eyes widen in pure shock as her confidence from moments ago completely vanishes. Before she can even process her realization, Jihan closes the distance between them. In one smooth motion, he leans in and licks the corner of her mouth. So-hyun is completely stunned, shoving him away as her face flushes red. She demands to know what he's doing, her previous confidence totally gone. With a wicked little smirk, Jihan coolly informs her that there's nothing on her lips anymore. Just then, an employee approaches their table, leaving So-hyun frozen in a mix of shock and embarrassment. Leaning in impossibly close, Jihan whispers for her to have a good night, his smirk telling a whole different story. Furious and completely flustered, So-hyun fumes internally, thinking he's just an immature punk. She's not letting him win, though. Grabbing his collar, she demands to know what he's playing at. Jihan's grin widens as he coolly informs her it's time for him to start putting in some real effort. As if on cue, the doors to a private room slide open, suggesting this night is far from over. So-hyun desperately tries to cool her flushed face, her mind racing. She prays her manager doesn't recognize her, realizing they could have a business meeting here at any moment. But her focus keeps snapping back to her lips, where the heat from Jihan's bold move still hasn't faded. Before she can pull herself together, Jihan makes his next move. Grabbing a bottle, he swiftly pulls her from her seat and straight into his arms. Caught completely off guard, So-hyun finds herself pressed firmly against him, unable to process what just happened. Trapped in his unyielding grip, So-hyun finds herself completely frozen as Jihan closes the final inch between them. Their lips meet in a surprisingly gentle touch, far from the aggressive move she expected. Her mind races, trying to make sense of it all. It's not a passionate advance, but something more calculated. In a flash of clarity, she understands his game. He's not trying to overwhelm her. He's simply testing the waters, carefully gauging her reaction to see exactly how far he can push his luck. Pulling back just enough to speak, Jihan whispers So-hyun's name. A smug, challenging grin spreads across his face as he dares her to do more. That's all the invitation she needs. Continuing her power play, So-hyun picks up a bottle of red bath oil. She casually explains that it's great for when you're tired. But instead of adding just a few drops, she squeezes a massive amount into the tub, turning the water a foamy red. Jihan is stunned by her bold move. Before Sohyun can react to her own mistake, he closes the distance in an instant. He grabs her from behind, trapping her against him. Completely startled, she gasps as he once again seizes control of the situation. With his patience gone, Jihan cuts her off with a single, blunt command: take off her clothes. But he doesn't wait for an answer. Power dynamic has been set, and Jihan is making sure they finish what they started, no matter what happens next. Sometime later, Jihan is all alone in his room, looking completely bored. With 8 hours still to go until he sees Sohyun again, time is moving at a snail's pace. Suddenly, the door clicks open, and he instantly perks up, wondering if Sohyun came back for something. But nope, it's just the housekeeping staff, who look mortified to see him there. They quickly apologize and try to leave, but after a blank stare, Jihan just gives a lazy wave, telling them to go ahead and not to mind him at all. Jihan's quiet is shattered by a phone call. An old, commanding voice orders him to come home, threatening to barge in if he doesn't comply. But Jihan isn't fazed. He just sighs, knowing it's his grandpa, Jong Chanho. The moment Jihan answers, his grandpa's threatening tone vanishes. Suddenly cheerful, he eagerly asks his grandson to grab lunch. Jihan reluctantly agrees to meet by noon. Overjoyed, Chanho immediately bolts from his office, bragging to his confused assistant that he has important lunch plans with his favorite grandchild. After ending the call with his grandpa, Jihan puts in a request for a Korean set meal. With lunch plans settled, he falls back onto the sofa, trying to make time pass faster. But his mind is racing, completely occupied with thoughts of Sohyun. He desperately wonders how he can hold onto what he calls his precious hypnotic drug. It's obvious he isn't talking about a substance. Sohyun herself has become an addiction he can't seem to shake. He's completely hooked. Lost in his thoughts, Jihan's imagination runs completely wild. He pictures an intense scene where Sohyun has him at his absolute limit. While he struggles, she just leans in, teasing that he can't get tired yet because they're far from finished. But his fantasy is shattered by a sudden, sharp sensation on his shoulder. He instantly panics, pleading with her not to leave any marks where people can see them. After all, he has a public-facing job and can't show up looking like he lost a fight with a vampire. His wild fantasy is cut short by reality. Sohyun lightly covers his face, shutting down his pouting. In response, he yanks her into a hug, deciding he'll just hold her instead. He comments on how good she smells, but she's not impressed, complaining that he's heavy and suffocating her. He pleads to hold her just a little longer and drifts off to sleep. When Jihan wakes up, he's completely alone. Sohyun left a note explaining she borrowed his clothes. It finally sinks in. He fell asleep on her.
Twice.
Jihan is completely drained. Since that day with Sohyun, he hasn't had a proper night's sleep. The memories keep him wide awake. Later, he's having lunch with his grandpa, Jong Chanho, who immediately gets down to business, asking when Jihan plans to return to the US. Annoyed, Jihan just stares back silently. His grandpa tells him to stop gawking and eat his food. But Jihan isn't having it, retorting that his grandpa was the one who dragged him all the way out here in the first place. Jihan bluntly asks why he has to go to the US. His grandfather, Chanho, fires back that just looking at him makes his blood boil. Unfazed, Jihan smirks and cheekily asks if his grandpa is getting excited. This comeback earns him a scolding for being a rascal with no filter. Annoyed, Chanho sets his chopsticks down, but then his tone completely shifts. He tells his grandson to eat slowly and eat a lot, saying the food is good for him. Jihan just keeps chewing, completely unbothered by the old man's mood swings. His grandpa continues his lecture, telling Jihan to stop with the bad habits and stop being so disobedient. Jihan just smirks, cheekily suggesting he must have taken after the old man. Surprisingly, his grandpa agrees, adding that since Jihan is just like him, he should have no problem quitting. He then reveals he's been smoke-free for over a decade. The subject changes, and Jihan asks if his grandpa is really returning to the US. When Chanho says yes, he explodes with anger at Jihan's indifference, telling him to at least act concerned. Chanho's tone softens as he laments that seeing his grandson only once a year is too little. He admits he was grateful for even that small amount of time. After a thoughtful silence, Jihan flips the conversation, asking if his grandpa would like it if he stayed in Korea for good. Chanho is overjoyed, immediately saying of course he would. But there's a catch. With a smirk, Jihan challenges the old man, promising to stay if his grandpa can bring him something so exciting he can't possibly refuse. Now hooked, Chanho eagerly demands to know the details. Jihan plays it cool, casually telling his grandpa he doesn't actually know what he wants and that the old man should figure it out. Chanho squints, calling him a little brat for just teasing him. He reflects that his grandson has never been greedy, not even as a child, and wonders if this is just an impossible request to dodge the issue. But a flashback reveals Jihan's perspective. He knows that if something truly exciting exists, his grandfather is the kind of man who would search the entire world just to bring it to him. The office meeting finally wraps up, and everyone starts to pack up. Just as the team leader is about to leave with the crowd, Deputy Kang So-hyun calls out to stop him. He turns to see what she needs, but she cuts him off, abruptly announcing that she's heading out for the day. Completely baffled by her sudden declaration, her boss asks where she could possibly be going. Ignoring his question, So-hyun just stares back with a dead serious look, simply repeating that she's leaving. It's not a request, it's a statement. So-hyun coolly tells her boss she's just going home. The team leader absolutely loses it, sputtering that it's only 6 p.m. He goes on a panicked rant, complaining that her leaving abruptly hurts the team's efficiency, especially with a big presentation just 2 days away. He points out she did the exact same thing yesterday. Unbothered, So-hyun just says something urgent came up for her too and promises to let him know in advance next time. Defeated, her boss can only ask if there will even be a next time. So-hyun shoots her boss a cheeky grin, playfully asking if this is really a just once kind of deal. The team leader, looking utterly exhausted, pinches the bridge of his nose and finally caves. He tells her she can go, but she absolutely must keep checking the team chat. He asks hesitantly if he can even trust her with that. So-hyun flashes a brilliant smile, promising she won't disappoint him. As she struts out, she checks her watch, determined to repay his trust by delivering the final presentation draft first thing tomorrow morning. As she heads out, a sly grin plays on So-hyun's lips. She reflects that her little playtime doesn't interfere with work. In fact, she feels her condition has actually improved since her recent night with him. Her mind is suddenly clearer, and brilliant ideas are flowing effortlessly, as if her brain got a total reset. As she walks through the city, she thinks about her professional duties, planning ads, convincing clients, and keeping her team running like a well-oiled machine. She knows that being the core that holds everything together is her ultimate role. So-hyun reflects on her biggest problem. Her mind is always running, stuck in an endless loop of work. She admits these persistent thoughts never stop on their own. The only way she can get a moment of peace is through a powerful, intense experience that wipes her brain completely clean. The scene flashes to a private, intimate moment with an unnamed man. This is her secret, the one thing that can silence the noise and give her a total mental reset. We see she's arrived at his place, suitcase in hand, ready for her unique brand of therapy. So-hyun arrives at a super exclusive hotel, ready for her unique brand of therapy. But she's immediately stopped by a smiling attendant who informs her there's an hour-long wait. Unfazed, So-hyun states she's meeting someone. The attendant cheerfully asks for the person's name. After a brief pause, she quietly says, Jong Jihan. The employee's jaw practically hits the floor. Realizing who she's with, he immediately drops the polite act and frantically leads her inside. Just hearing that name opened every door. As she's escorted into the hotel, So-hyun marvels at the power of Jong Jihan's name. A place with a month-long waiting list opened its doors for her instantly. She can't help but wonder about the true identity of the man she's meeting. Inside the suite, Jihan sits with an intense, brooding look. He seems surprised to see her. Noticing his cold expression, So-hyun asks what's wrong with his face. He feigns ignorance, but she calls him out, pointing out he looks irritated before asking if he's truly unaware of the situation. So-hyun is not impressed. She ditched her exhausted team leader and rushed over here, only to be met with this frosty reception. She even imagines her adoring colleagues welcoming her back to the office with open arms. Changing tactics, she puts on a smile and suggests they can just meet next time if he's not in the mood. But Jihan totally ignores her offer. After taking a slow sip of his drink, he tells her to order some food, adding that she's good at that. So-hyun is left completely speechless. So-hyun decides to cut through the heavy silence. She pours herself a drink, pointing out that it seems like he hasn't gone a day without one. Her new strategy is simple: let the alcohol work its magic and fix both of their moods. She takes a long drink, and Jihan just watches her over his own glass with an intense gaze. A moment later, feeling a bit flushed, she stands up abruptly. Announcing she'll be right back, she leaves a confused Jihan asking where she's going. Her only reply? Bathroom. So-hyun walks away, completely fed up with the silence. She fumes internally, thinking about how they've been sitting there for an hour while Jihan just sulked. This whole night is shaping up to be totally exhausting. As she makes her way down the hotel corridor, she suddenly stops dead in her tracks. Her eyes widen in disbelief when she spots a man smiling just ahead. It's a familiar face, someone she never expected to see here. Her mind screams his name as she recognizes the office worker, Kim Sung-min. So-hyun stares, realizing her eyes aren't deceiving her. It's definitely Kim Sungmin. Of all the people to run into, it had to be the guy she broke up with just a month ago. A memory flashes through her mind of how he reacted to the split. He couldn't accept it and got incredibly clingy. The scene plays out in her head, Sungmin on the office floor, grabbing her leg and begging her to wait. But Sohyun had been firm, angrily telling him to cut it out because she had zero plans to marry him. Sungmin barges in, his composure completely shattering when he sees Jihan. He immediately explodes, pointing at Jihan and demanding to know who he is. Looking the younger man up and down, Sungmin accuses Sohyun of rejecting his proposal just to date someone else. Sohyun frantically denies it, but it's too late. With a smug grin, Jihan leans forward and pours gasoline on the fire. He calmly informs Sungmin that Sohyun is there for a one-night arrangement. Sohyun is left speechless and horrified by Jihan's predictable cruelty. Desperate to escape the train wreck of a situation, Sohyun decides to call Jihan and tell him to meet her outside. But the phone just keeps ringing, and he doesn't pick up. Annoyed, she realizes there's only one option left. She has to get out of there before seeing him again. Meanwhile, Jihan is lying in the room, completely unbothered as he wonders what the holdup is. Just as Sohyun turns to bolt, a hand suddenly grabs her arm. She whips around, telling the person to just forget it. Sohyun orders Jihan to stop drinking and get ready. He coolly asks her for a reason. Looking him dead in the eye, she says she wants to get their arrangement done as soon as the booze kicks in. But Jihan completely blows her off, sipping his drink without a care. Annoyed, she grabs him, insisting they go upstairs. Suddenly, a noise from behind makes her freeze. She cautiously looks over her shoulder and is horrified to see her ex-boyfriend, Kim Sungmin, sitting at a nearby table, looking just as surprised. Panicking, Sohyun makes a split-second decision to save face. She lunges forward and sits right on Jihan's lap, throwing him for a loop. A wicked smirk spreads across his face as he asks what she's doing. Sohyun is internally screaming, praying Sungmin didn't recognize her. Wrapping her arms tightly around Jihan's neck, she desperately whispers for him to hold her. When he asks what she means, she repeats the request, adding that he should carry her anywhere else. Now understanding her game, Jihan looks thoroughly amused. Clinging to Jihan, Sohyun is completely overwhelmed. His grip is way too intense, and her only thought is that she needs to get out. But they aren't leaving, and she can't figure out why. In one smooth motion, Jihan stands up, lifting her effortlessly into his arms. An employee approaches, asking if they're ready to leave. Ignoring him, Jihan gives a chillingly simple command: move them to a room. It looks like Sohyun's desperate escape plan has just backfired in the worst possible way. Jihan carries Sohyun into a lavish VIP lounge, not the kind of room she was expecting. A wave of relief washes over her. At least she's safely away from her ex-boyfriend. She asks him about their plan, but Jihan gives her the silent treatment. He walks over to the table, grabs a bottle of expensive liquor, and takes a long, hard drink straight from the bottle. A single drop trails down his neck as he makes it clear that from here on out, they're playing by his rules. Jihan completely flips the script. He suddenly pours the expensive liquor right onto Sohyun, who can only stare in disbelief. Before she can process what just happened, he yanks her forward, pulling her into his arms. With an intense look, he gives her a shocking and outrageous command: to lick it. For a second, Sohyun is frozen, but then a spark of defiance flashes in her eyes. She meets his gaze, licks her own lips, and coolly calls him rude, refusing to give him the reaction he wants. Sohyun internally scoffs, wondering if she's now his personal laundry service. But she quickly admits that she walked right into this mess. As Jihan holds her against him, he whispers that they might have to skip the room. There's simply no time. This is his way. Bold, unfiltered, and direct. Despite everything, she feels herself getting pulled in by his overwhelming presence, completely captivated by his intense eyes. Around him, she knows she's about to do something crazy all over again. As Sohyun gets lost in his overwhelming presence, she feels like she's in a dream. His intense eyes seem to give her permission, telling her that it's okay and that she can do anything. Pulling her even closer, Jihan offers a silent promise of complete understanding, assuring her there will be no judgment for whatever happens next. In that instant, Sohyun realizes he has become a man who gives her absolute freedom. The world around them fades away, leaving them in a deeply personal and pivotal moment that changes everything between them. Instead of backing down, Jihan pulls Sohyun into an impossibly close embrace. With her cheek pressed against his bare chest, she slowly places her hand on him, a silent move in their intense game. He lets out a low hum, his expression unreadable as he looks down at her. He's clearly thinking about his next move, enjoying the power he holds in this moment. The room is dead silent, but the standoff between them is louder than any words, leaving Sohyun to wonder what he'll do next. His intense standoff softens into a surprisingly gentle gesture. Jihan's hand comes up, tenderly brushing a strand of hair from Sohyun's face as his fingers trace her cheek. The intense atmosphere from their night at the Grand Hotel shifts, leaving a strange, awkward silence hanging between them as he holds her close, refusing to let go. It's 4:31 a.m., and while the city sleeps, Sohyun is wide awake. She quietly reaches for her phone, trying not to disturb Jihan, who is sleeping soundly beside her. Seeing him so peaceful, she hesitates, thinking it would be a shame to wake him. But his words from the previous night come rushing back. He had pleaded with her to stay until morning and made her promise to wake him before she left. Now, watching the unguarded man, Sohyun is stuck. Does she break her promise to let him rest? Sohyun decides to risk it, gently touching Jihan's chest. He doesn't stir, but just as she prepares to slip away, he suddenly shifts, startling her as he rests his head in her lap. He looks so peaceful, she can't help but pause. Believing he's still out cold, she quietly tells the sleeping man she's leaving and tries to ease away. In an instant, his hand shoots out, clamping down on her wrist. His eyes are still closed, but his grip is firm. He's not letting her go anywhere. Jihan, his eyes still closed, murmurs for her not to leave. Sohyun insists she has to get to work, but he casually tells her to just call in sick. She flatly refuses, stating she isn't sick, but Jihan questions why she can't even tell a simple lie. A sly smile spreads across Sohyun's face as she has a realization. Catching on, Jihan leans in, whispering a bold offer to make sure she wouldn't be lying. Completely unfazed, she simply smirks and comments on his awful sleeping habits. Sohyun sighs, feeling the weight of his offer. She silently admits that these complicated feelings are a hassle, and a huge part of her really doesn't want to go to work either. But responsibility wins out. She gently pushes him back down, telling him to get more rest. In a surprisingly tender moment, she places a soft kiss on his forehead. Even as he seems to drift back to sleep, he clings to her hand, holding it to his face. The bedside lamp clicks off as a bright new morning finally arrives. Sohyun finally steps out of the hotel and into a taxi, giving the driver her destination. As the car pulls away, her mind is anything but calm. Her heart suddenly begins to pound in her chest. She wonders if she's just sleep-deprived, but the butterflies in her stomach tell a different story. Completely overwhelmed by these new, intense feelings, she clutches her chest. Her heart won't stop racing. Slumping back into her seat with a sigh, she desperately tries to figure out what's going on inside her own head. As the taxi speeds down the road, Sohyun tries to get a grip. She tells herself that this complicated relationship is almost over anyway, just one more meeting to go. But while she's trying to rationalize her feelings, someone else is deep in his own. Back at the hotel, Jihan sits alone, a lavish meal completely ignored. He quietly swirls the ice in his drink, lost in thought. Taking a slow sip, his somber expression makes it clear that their morning together left a serious mark on him, too. Jihan's mind replays the morning as he swirls his drink. He recalls Sohyun's voice telling him to sleep more, her name a constant echo in his thoughts. The memory of her gentle kiss is still fresh. He takes a slow sip, finally understanding his own mood. Because of that small moment, he feels strangely okay. For the first time, waking up to find himself all alone in the quiet room didn't bother him at all. Her unexpected tenderness had left a lasting impression, calming the usual storm inside him. Jihan's quiet time is suddenly over as two friends arrive, greeting him enthusiastically. They're surprised by the lavish food spread, with one joking that it must be a surprise party for him. Noticing Jihan's unusually good mood, they press him, asking what the special occasion is. But Jihan isn't giving anything away. Instead of answering, he just takes a slow sip of his drink, a smug and knowing smile playing on his lips. He's enjoying a secret that only he understands, and he has no intention of sharing. Jihan's friends are totally floored. They've never seen him smile like this before and immediately start guessing why. One friend jokes if he finally found some happy pills, but the other is sharper. He figures it's not some weird substance, it has to be a girl. They remember he was searching like a madman for someone and realize he must have finally found her. Pressing for details, they ask how it went. With a cool and confident smirk, Jihan finally admits it. He did, in fact, meet her, and the memory of Sohyun flashes through his mind. Jihan gets lost in the memory of Sohyun again. He recalls the drinks they shared and the intense way she looked right at him. A tiny mole near her lips completely captured his attention. He can't help but smile, thinking that for someone who seems so innocent, she has an incredibly seductive side. Snapping out of his daze, Jihan makes a silent, firm decision. He's all in. His declaration shocks his friends, and one of them immediately jumps to a wild conclusion, asking if they already got that close right here in this very room. Jihan's friend is completely horrified by the thought, demanding to know where exactly it all went down. The other guy freaks out about his pride, worrying he'll have to tip the staff a fortune to keep them quiet. But Jihan is totally unfazed. He just takes a sip of his drink and calmly says he already tipped them because they worked so hard setting up the food. His friends are stunned into silence by the massive misunderstanding. One of them breaks the silence, calling the moment legendary and admitting this fancy room really suits Jihan. A new face walks in, and he's a big shot, Young Min-soo, the heir of Manhwa Enterprises. A mutual friend explains he brought Min-soo along because the heir was dying to meet them. Min-soo walks right up to one of the men, his footsteps echoing with confidence. Instead of a normal handshake, he places a firm hand right on the man's chest. With a huge, toothy grin, Min-soo says he's heard all about him. He then immediately tells them to drop the formalities since he's older, trying to establish dominance from the get-go. Min-soo tries to take charge, telling Jihan to drink up. But Jihan barely acknowledges him, offering a simple, okay. A friend quickly tries to smooth things over, explaining that's just Jihan's personality. Trying another tactic, Min-soo suggests they all go clubbing. His friends know that's a no-go, since Jihan hates crowds. While Jihan calmly sips his drink, Min-soo is fuming internally. He thinks Jihan is an arrogant brat and admits he'd never bother with him if it weren't for his family's massive wealth. While everyone else is having a good time, Min-soo is spiraling. He can't figure Jihan out at all, wondering why a guy like him would only hang out with other men. Just as his thoughts get wild, a friend reminds him he was supposed to be getting closer to Jihan. The powerful heir then calls them out for ignoring him. Seizing the moment, his friends suggest Min-soo switch seats with Min-jun. Annoyed but playing along, Min-soo agrees. Then, the real bombshell drops. The whole conversation was actually about a girl Jihan was searching for. Hearing Jihan was looking for a girl, Min-soo gets a smug look on his face. He shouts that he knew Jihan was into girls. Trying to flex, Min-soo then brags about all the ladies that flock to him, claiming he only picks the best of the best. He waits for a reaction, but Jihan just stares back with a blank expression. After a painfully awkward silence, Jihan finally speaks, sarcastically calling the whole display impressive. Min-soo can barely contain his anger, silently calling Jihan a brat for shutting him down so easily. A friend playfully asks Jihan if he found the girl he was looking for, smirking as he wonders if the whole search was just an excuse to get close to her. But Jihan, completely unfazed, calmly says he's meeting her. The room erupts. His friends are totally shocked, one shouting about a 100,000 won bet he just won. Jihan then clarifies he only managed to beg for 3 dates. Taking a sip of his drink, he confirms that yes, they are meeting, leaving his friends buzzing with excitement. The room is buzzing as Jihan's friends grill him for details. Curious, they ask for the girl's name. He calmly reveals it's Kang So-hyun. Confused that she isn't famous, his friends start making disrespectful comments, asking about her looks and suggesting he call her over. This immediately triggers a private, intimate memory of So-hyun for Jihan. The friendly atmosphere vanishes in an instant. His expression turns ice cold as he stares them down, quietly asking what they just said. They clearly crossed a major line. The fun atmosphere in the room completely vanishes. The guys look confused as Jihan, wreathed in smoke, speaks with a dangerously calm voice, asking if everyone is done talking. His chilling gaze locks onto one of the friends who had been running his mouth. With a piercing stare, Jihan asks him a simple question. Does he know who Kang So-hyun is? The man immediately starts sweating, stammering that he doesn't and nervously asking why it's important. He just realized he crossed a line he shouldn't have. With a dangerously calm voice, Jihan confirms that knowing who So-hyun is incredibly important. Before his friend can even react, Jihan violently grabs his face, forcing his head back. The man's bravado completely disappears, replaced by pure terror. With a look of absolute fury, Jihan brings a lit cigarette close to his friend's face and commands him to open his mouth. Tears and sweat stream down the man's cheeks as he stammers apologies, desperately begging Jihan to stop. He finally gets the message. Kang So-hyun is off limits. A pain scream rips through the room as Jihan delivers a brutal punishment for the disrespect. As the man collapses in agony, another friend quickly intervenes, shouting Jihan's name and telling him that's enough. He quickly apologizes for his friend's behavior and promises they'll leave immediately. Unimpressed, Jihan simply leans back with an icy glare, his authority absolute. He makes it clear to everyone that this was just a warning, leaving the others completely frozen in terror. The message has been sent, loud and clear. With a final, chilling glare, Jihan issues a last command. Never say So-hyun's name carelessly again. The terrified man who learned this lesson the hard way quickly promises he'll never forget. As his friends help him up, one of them cautiously asks Jihan if he's okay, because he definitely doesn't seem to be. Internally, Jihan admits he isn't. A vision of Sohyun fills his mind. The thought of other men talking about her, acting like they know her, or even just daring to speak her name, fills him with an uncontrollable rage. Internally, Jihan finally admits why he lost his temper. The entire situation was irritating, but what really set him off was the thought that he was no different from his friend. He tries to rationalize his connection to Sohyun, telling himself he only knows the basics: her name, her job, and her contact info. Their arrangement was supposed to be casual, something to enjoy, and then end. But as a vivid, intimate memory of her floods his mind, he's forced to accept that his feelings are anything but simple. This is getting complicated. Alone in the quiet room, Jihan takes a slow sip from his glass, the ice clinking softly. The earlier chaos has faded, leaving only his cold, calculating thoughts. After a moment of intense reflection, his eyes open with sharp determination. He knows there's just one more thing left to do to settle this. The scene shifts to the imposing Jaesang building, where a professional in a business suit stops dead in their tracks, folder in hand. Whatever Jihan has planned, the pieces are already starting to move. The professional woman clutches her folder, her resolve solid as steel. In her mind, this is it, the final battle. Today's meeting will decide everything. She admits to a flicker of nervousness, but with her trusted team by her side, she feels ready for anything. They're prepared for an ace battle. Their team is greeted warmly by Manager Cha from the other company. Pleasantries are exchanged, but the mood shifts when a hushed rumor circulates. It's not just PR executives attending. The president of Jaesang Electronics himself is here. The news lands like a bombshell, and the team's confident expressions crumble into utter shock. The team's confidence completely shatters. This isn't just a high-stakes meeting. Jaesang has deployed their entire executive team. The pressure is immense, and her co-workers are sweating bullets, admitting they're more nervous than ever. As the elevator doors slide open, her eyes land on a man in a gray jacket, a color that reminds her of someone's eyes. For a split second, a smile eases her tension. But that brief moment of relief disappears in an instant as she lifts her gaze to finally see the man's face. It's Jong Jihan. His eyes widen in what looks like genuine surprise, but then a subtle, knowing smile appears. As he takes a confident step forward, the entire team instinctively parts, their professional composure completely gone. They can only stare in disbelief. Sohyun's mind goes blank. She questions if she's dreaming, sweat beading on her forehead. Of all the people who could be here, why is he, the one man she never wanted to see in a boardroom, standing right in front of her? The situation has become infinitely more complicated. Before Sohyun can even react, Jong Jihan smoothly grabs her wrist, forcing her to turn. He leans in, his voice a low whisper meant only for her, saying he'll see her at the office. A smug grin spreads across his face. To him, this unexpected reunion has just made things far more exciting. Sohyun is completely stunned, her face flushing with a mix of anger and shock. Her heart hammers against her ribs. Internally, she curses him out. This crazy jerk just turned the most important meeting of her career into her own personal nightmare. Sohyun flinches and tries to snatch her arm back, but Jong Jihan's grip is firm. Her co-workers are frozen, jaws on the floor at his audacity. Sohyun glares up at him, her face burning with a mix of fury and embarrassment. This guy is unbelievable. But her anger doesn't faze him one bit. He just smirks, completely unbothered by the scene he's causing. Internally, he seems to find her resistance entertaining, a small, amused smile playing on his lips as he reaffirms his control over the situation. Sohyun tries to shake off the shock, her mind reeling. Why is Jong Jihan here? Pushing the question aside, she forces herself to focus. She's come too far to back down now. Taking a deep breath, Sohyun steels her nerves and walks into the meeting room with purpose, her heels clicking decisively on the floor. An executive greets her team, thanking them for making time in their busy schedules for the presentation. It's time to get down to business, no matter who is in the room. Sohyun takes her place at the front of the room, trying to keep her voice from shaking. She thanks the executives of Jaesang Group for their time and introduces herself as the assistant manager for Hyunjin Planning. Internally, she's a nervous wreck, fighting to keep her composure. Just as she starts to get into her rhythm, the meeting room door slides open. In walks Jong Jihan, looking cool and confident as he strolls in. Sohyun's professional mask instantly crumbles. She stares at him, her mind going completely blank. What is he doing here? Sohyun's brain short-circuits.
Jong Jihan.
Why is he here? Did he follow her? She glances around the room, but the other executives are completely unfazed by the interruption. One guy is even leaning back in his chair, totally relaxed. Sohyun notices Jihan isn't wearing an employee ID, and his posture is way too arrogant for a regular staff member. As she worries about what he'll do next, Jihan smirks from his seat, looking thoroughly entertained. He announces that now things are getting exciting, putting all the pressure right back on Kang Sohyun. Sohyun's presentation is dead on arrival. Just as she's about to speak, the entire room of executives suddenly stands up and rushes toward the door. Frozen at the podium, she can only watch in confusion as a new man enters the room. An employee greets him excitedly, calling him president. The newcomer is Jong Ji-yeon, the head of Jaesang Electronics. But while everyone scrambles to greet the big boss, Jong Ji-han doesn't even bother to get up. He just sits back, watching the whole chaotic scene with total disinterest. With the room finally settled, the president announces it's time to begin. Kang Sohyun's eyes lock with Jong Ji-han's across the table, and for a second, her confidence wavers under his intense stare. She quickly tells herself to focus, determined not to let him ruin this for her. Taking a deep breath, Sohyun's professional mask is back in place. With a renewed, confident smile, she kicks off her presentation on the new advertisement plan. Watching from his seat, even Jihan seems slightly caught off guard by her sudden composure. Sohyun takes command of the room, her voice steady and confident. She kicks things off by calling out a competitor's flawed ad campaign, arguing that people don't want to just watch life on a screen, they want to live it. Her real genius move? Pointing out that career-driven women are the main buyers, a market Jaesang has totally ignored. But while the executives are captivated by her pitch, Jong Ji-han just smirks. He's not thinking about business. He's thinking about how well her formal suit hides the secrets of their last meeting. Sohyun drops a bomb on the boardroom, declaring their marketing is failing because it's stuck in a man's perspective. The bold statement catches everyone off guard, and the previously bored executives are now hanging on her every word. Across the table, Jong Ji-han tries to hide a smirk, finding her sudden ferocity exciting. He flashes back to a recent phone call, realizing he completely misread her. He thought she was just being shy, but it turns out she was gearing up to bite back, and bite back hard. She's got their full attention now. As Sohyun continues her powerful pitch, Jong Ji-han is completely captivated. He finds himself staring at the mole by her lip, wondering if it holds some kind of secret power over him. Meanwhile, Sohyun paints a vivid picture of their new target customer, a bold, successful woman who isn't shy about her achievements. And as a reward for her hard work, she buys their display TV, declaring it the perfect finishing touch for her high-end lifestyle. Her confident argument lands perfectly, leaving the entire boardroom stunned into silence. Sohyun concludes her presentation with a confident smile, asking if there are any questions. The response is overwhelmingly positive, with the executives murmuring their approval. They agree her plan is good, with no objections. Relieved and buzzing with excitement, Sohyun begins to wrap things up, thinking she's home free. But just as she's about to finish, a single hand rises, silencing the room. An older, serious-looking executive fixes his gaze on her, announcing that he has a question.